Hello there ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the Common Sense Guys channel. Today we're going to be doing a video about CBS and their commission to a new show called The Good Fight that is talking about being able to punch a Nazi. Now, generally, before we get into this video, I do not have any love for Nazis. I do not have any love for them whatsoever. I have no love for Richard Spencer. I have no love for anybody that advocates what they do. But at the same time, you cannot go around and start punching people because you have decided that you think that they are Nazis. Because once you start going around and punching people for their political ideas, that will turn itself into a civil war. And that's the reason why I'm doing this video. It seems that media themselves at this moment in time are perpetuating the idea that it's us versus them. Not that ideas can be talked and have discord and be challenged and be stopped by discourse, but no, that we have to fight each other and prove each other in trials of combat, which unfortunately will not go well for anybody, left, right, centre. It will not go well for anybody, as there will be people that will be casualties of such a ludicrously stupid war. And no, I'm not trying to say that people should never fight for their aspirations and their political beliefs if so challenged and forced upon. I am saying that you can fight and you should be able to defend your ideas. But if your first option is the nuclear option, then all you're going to do is destroy everybody that is around you and not help the people that you say you want to help. That's where I'm going with this video. I wanted everybody to know that this is a video for me to be able to point out the fact that the media themselves are perpetuating that idea of it's us versus them. It's the right versus the left. And for the idea of Nazism and everything else like that, especially for people that know that it's being pushed out there, and same as racist or xenophobe, for everybody that has a dissenting opinion now, that means that anybody that has a dissenting opinion, if you call them a Nazi in this ideology, can now be punched because of the Overton window and how it's being shifted and how it needs to be enforced. These are the language that is coming from said video, and hence why they had to delete the video, and why people are wondering why it's been deleted. But hey, let's get into the video. I've rambled on enough. Let's do it, shall we?
Is it alright to hit a Nazi unprovoked?
The fact that you even have to ask that question, is it okay to hit a Nazi unprovoked? That means not having a provocation to go and hit a Nazi. In other words, no good reason. You are asking the question or formulating a question to go, is it okay to hit somebody that is not going to cause you physical harm or cause you any physical problems without provocation? That is what you are asking the formulated question about. Is it okay to hit somebody that is not trying to hit you or provocate you into doing that or needing to defend yourself? That's the question you're asking at the minute, my guys.
I was always taught to never throw the first punch, never instigate. Defend, but don't attack.
Well done, yes, because that means that you're not the one there instigating an actual fight, you are defending yourself, which actually is a good thing. Yes, you can have things as preemptive strikes, and you can have things as making sure that you're in fear of your life, and you can throw first punches in that sort of instances. Yes, you can do that, and I'm not saying you can't, but the point of the question that's then followed up by this is the point of him saying, is it okay to hit somebody that is not provoking you? And then him trying to go through the societal norms of saying that you shouldn't instigate the fight, but you can defend yourself. And he's now going to try and destroy that norm to say that no, you can go in and attack somebody to defend yourself. That's the problem. That's where we're going at this minute in time. That's where the media is now perpetuating us and pushing us and forcing us to go towards, to the point where we're having And no, this is nothing to do with black people in general or people of colour in general. This is to do with the fact of the media and the media's portrayal of it, the connotations that come with this, which is that you have a black man at this moment in time that is in the middle of a riot, so to speak, that's going on at this moment in time for the purpose of this video, that is asking, is it okay to start hitting people without provocation? That's where we are at this minute in time, and it's being forced by the media. The race war is coming thanks to the media, not to the right.
But then I saw a video of the white nationalist Richard Spencer being punched in the face during an interview, and I realized
that freedom of speech actually goes to the people that we don't want to be and have it. For freedom of speech means that we are supposed to accept people that have abhorrent speech to be able to portray and say. But the good thing about freedom of speech is that you can challenge bad ideas, and Spencer's ideas are very bad, with good ideas, as in equality and everything else that goes with that sentence. But yet, because you're now going to say that people that are like Richard Spencer or can be attributed as Nazis like Richard Spencer can now be punched, that means generalized conservatives or conservatives in general are now going to be classified as Nazis by your description. And because you're saying that it's okay to punch these people that I, the media, have described as Nazis, that it can now be transcended to the people on the street, that you, the people, can start punching people we decide are Nazis and have dissenting opinions, and not challenge those bad ideas with good ideas. Or, in general, competing those ideas on a free market basis rather than trying to censor people. Let the ideas fail or contribute on merit alone, not by race and creed and where they've come from.
Spencer was in a pressed suit, wearing a tie, being interviewed like his opinion mattered, like he should be considered part of the conversation, like...
Unfortunately, it is part of the conversation. Now, again, I would like to reiterate, I do not agree with Richard Spencer. I do not agree. But there are people that do agree with Richard Spencer. And you, by saying that it's okay to punch them, will make them more staunch in their views. The way to stop bad ideas is not by forcing your opinion and your views down their throats, by not letting them speak, by literally enforcing censorship on them, is by letting them speak and letting them realize that their ideas are foolish, that their ideas cannot work in society as it is, and nor should it. But the way that you are doing it is now forcing them into a oppressed class and making other people feel sorry that they are not being heard. You are forcing people like me that does not want to defend Richard Spencer's speech and what he stands for in general to defend him. Because if you did go after him by calling him a Nazi, you can then come after me by calling me a Nazi, and so on and so forth, until we get to people that are just dissenting opinions on your own side. The language that can be used can be transferred from Nazi to xenophobe to racist, can transcend almost any sort of form of political discord at this moment in time. It doesn't matter where you sit on a political spectrum. If this type of rhetoric and dogma is allowed to perpetuate and be forced upon the actual mainstream and forced upon generalized people, that it's okay to start punching people, all you're going to do is perpetuate the idea that it's okay to start fighting over political ideologies, that it's okay if you have a dissenting opinion to go up to that person that you have a dissenting opinion against and punch them in the face. Because all you have to do to justify it now is to call them a Nazi. Can you imagine having two political protests on at the same time now? Where if you had the right and the left that were protesting something or each other, how that they would then turn into literally armies lining up against each other to literally fight each other. Not to peacefully protest, but to fight each other on political discourse, because one side thinks the other side is Nazis, so he's going to attack them, and the other side is going to defend against them. Though it can also go to the point of a preemptive strike from the right going on to the left. I'm not saying it couldn't, but generally, you are saying that it's okay for the left to punch the right, if you call them a Nazi.
Neo-Nazism was just one political point of view, and then I realized...
I can't believe that I'm going to have to bloody do this. Neo-Nazism, as abhorrent and as horrible as it is just a political ideology. It takes power to enact the political ideology. Yes, again, for the people in the back that are too stupid to realise I'm not defending neo-Nazism, it is an abhorrent and horrible political doctrine. But then again, you can say the same thing about the Black Panthers, you can say the same thing about black nationalists, about the National of Islam, you can say the same things about any Islamic terrorist group that also produce Sharia law and that sort of aspect. They are horrible political ideologies, but yet, unfortunately, people listen to them, people believe them as well. So you have to let them speak to dispel the idea of them. The way you stop ideas is by challenging the ideas and proving the idea wrong, not by forcefully censoring them. And by forcefully censoring them, I mean punching them in the face whenever they speak.
There's no better way to show some speech is not equal. Some speech requires a more visceral response.
Now for the people in the back. He is actually saying that it is okay, in his opinion, that if you think that somebody is a Nazi, that you can go and punch them. That it is okay to do that because some speech deserves to be punched. Some speech deserves physical violence against you for speaking it. I don't know what more I can say to this to prove to people that the media themselves are pushing for a war and a race war. This is not because that they care about black people. This is not because they care about injustices. This is all to do with ratings. If they can perpetuate and push for the idea of black people versus white people, or people of colour versus white people, or whatever, they can then get ratings for covering it. Because, after all, they cover wars all the time. So, what would be the difference about a civil war, apart from everybody in that country would be tuning in to watch it, and it would be devised and set out by the media to start it?
It's like Overton's window. That's the term from which ideas are tolerated in public discourse. Well, Overton's window doesn't mean shit unless it comes with some enforcement, so yeah!
Again, for the people in the back, just in case that you're not listening to him, he has literally just reinstated what I have just said. That if the Overton window decides, in its wisdom, that people shouldn't have political discourse about something, then we should enforce the fact that other people are not allowed to have that discourse by physical violence. Not that if people acting on those thoughts or anything, not if people are deciding to take action on those speech, or a call to action, or a call to arms, or anything else like that. No, just the fact of the ideas, and if you have it and you speak it, you will be, by his and the media's actions on this, that you will be punched in the face and physically and forcefully censored if you politically disagree with what we have to say and what our generalized story is. Welcome to Orwell.
This is enforcement. It's time to punch a few Nazis.
I wonder if this is the actual reason why this video was deleted. Because this is an actual call to arms. It is time to punch a few Nazis. We are going to enforce the Overton window, and it's okay to do so. So now we are going to punch a few Nazis, and it's okay, because the media said so. By the way, as you can probably tell yourselves, and you don't really need me to explain this, the reason why they're wearing pink vests is obviously in symbolism to the point of talking about the yellow vests in France. The only problem is that it's the left and the right going against the government because of government overtaxations, as well as other problems, but generally overtaxation. So, yeah, way to conflate that movement with your own discourse, which is funny because I wonder if you're actually covering what the Yellow Jackets are actually doing in France, or just have a knowledge of people knowing that people know about it and using that to perpetuate the civil war that you're trying to push for. So I just wanted to take a couple of seconds for my closing statement, if you will, which is the fact that at the end of this little advertisement, that the name of the actual program in which that they're going to push this for, or what advertising is for, is called The Good Fight, meaning that this is a virtuous and righteous fight to be had. The censorship of people that we have dissenting views against, that actually have no power to enact any of the visions in which they foresee the future to have. And again, not supporting Spencer, not supporting neo-Nazism, because otherwise things like this will get clipped out of context and people will go, he's a Nazi, it's why he's against it. No, I'm not a Nazi, and the reason why I'm against this type of censorship is simply because the ideas themselves can quite easily be defeated by other decent ideas, hence why society in itself does not accept Nazism, and it is shunned. But the more that you push it away, the more people will flock to it. And no, that's not me trying to say, well, you're the ones creating this. No, it's not that. I'm not saying that you are. I'm saying in general that the media that keeps on pushing this idea that it's the right versus the left, and it's the idea that it's okay to punch and physically assault and physically hurt the opposite side and the opposition will also say the same thing as a counter. And then you would say that it is the right that's pushing the idea for it, and then have scapegoats for the civil war that you're trying to perpetuate. Now, again, I do not want to see this happen. I do not want to see the right versus the left. I do not want to see censorship happen. The ideas themselves are so crap from neo-Nazis that they can quite easily be dispelled. But let's go on to the actual point of CBS All Access for their obviously streaming platform. And the actual hashtag for it is Join the Fight, as this, again, is perpetuated as a virtuous thing to accomplish. Now, with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for taking the time to watch this video. Thank you very much for taking the time to like, share and subscribe this video and to this channel if you can, please. And I will see you all again real soon. So bye-bye for now and take care. Bye-bye.